Origin benefits to protect you and your loved ones. Wake up, for faith, by faith. Oh.
Mexico's president also sending 10,000 new board members to its border. Washington Commanders managing partner Josh Harris met today with the media following a surprising season that saw the team one game in the Super Bowl.
Harris answered the big question: are they keeping the team's name?
Yes. And we're actually, I think it's now being embraced by our team, by our culture, by our coaching staff. And so we're going with that.
There are a lot of Washington football fans who don't like the name Commanders, but Harris says it now means something.
It's about players who love football, are great at football, hit hard, mentally tough, great teammates. And so that name is growing in meaning.
And it's staying. Matt Coates on WMAL and WMAL.com.
Checking your money, the Dow closed down 122 points, the Nasdaq off 235. Traffic and weather next.
Attention taxpayers. The IRS is intensifying collections in 2025. If you owe $10,000 or more or have unfiled tax returns, it's time to take action. Tax Network USA's experienced lawyers have saved clients over $1 billion. They're ready to negotiate with the IRS on your behalf. Don't risk wage garnishment, property seizure, or losing your home. Call 1-800-278-9000 today. Get the help you need at 1-800-278-9000 or visit tnusa.com.
Sometimes it feels like the world is moving at hyperspeed and you can't keep up because it's one thing then another. Don't forget the meeting and a yoga class and the dinner reservation buffet. We get into the all-new Nissan Murano and you feel the breeze from the panoramic moonroof while the massaging seats melt away the tension of the day. And you realize that sometimes the greatest rush is not rushing at all. Shop the all-new Murano at nissanusa.com. Panoramic moonroof, massaging leather appointed seats are available features.
Issues. There's a whole lot missing here in this story, isn't there? Every day. Why are we the only ones reporting this? News Talk 105.9. Making sense of the news. Making sense of your world on the go. Stream your favorite show. Get the day's top headlines and access our podcast archive. All with the new WMAL app. This is for you. Get the WMAL app on Google Play or the Apple App Store and stay connected. Making sense of your morning. Lots of coverage here on that developing story. O'Connor and Company, weekday mornings from 5 to 9. Larry O'Connor here getting you through your morning. Making sense of Washington. Asking some very specific questions, some legitimate questions. Making sense of the double standard. Then here's the latest example. Making sense of the headlines. Let me break it down for you because there's plenty to break down here. O'Connor and Company with Larry O'Connor. Mornings from 5 to 9. News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
Here's Michelle Murray in the Hibbie Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
An accident on the Baltimore-Washington Parkway northbound between Astor and the road has been cleared, but traffic is jammed up from the Beltway. Southbound side is slow, headed through South Laurel in towards Greenbelt, and DC 295 jammed up. Northbound between the 11th Street Bridge and East Capitol Street. Slowing southbound as well between Burroughs Avenue and Pennsylvania Avenue. On 270 northbound before Montrose Road, watch out for the emergency roadwork in the right lane. That is traffic jam from the Beltway, and delays continue northbound from 370 to Middlebrook Road and from Route 80 towards 85. There is also emergency roadwork in the local lanes of 270 northbound before Montrose Road in the left lane. Now from GarageDroidCare.com, the WMAL Storm Watch 7 forecast.
Tonight, partly cloudy, a low around 47. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, a high near 56. Right now, 51 degrees in Washington. I'm Heather Curtis on News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
105.9 FM and feeding worldwide on the WMAL app. Mark Levin. The bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with a unbeatable time. But then,
any of you getting tired of winning yet? Because Lord knows I'm not. Welcome. It is the Mark Levin Show. Ben Ferguson filling in for the great one, and we are going to have one fun show tonight, my friends. I don't even know where to start. There's a video that someone just sent me in Canada, and it made me just smile and laugh. Canadian liquor stores started taking American liquor off the shelves only to put it right back on after Justin Trudeau caved to Trump's demands. This is what winning looks like when you put America first. Now, let me just start with the tweet that got us here so you're up to date, and then we'll build it backwards so how all this kind of happened. President Trump and Canada's new $1.3 billion border plan is the new thing. Here's Donald Trump's tweet. Canada has agreed to ensure we have a secure northern border and to finally end the deadly surge of drugs like fentanyl that have been pouring into our country, killing hundreds of thousands of Americans while destroying their families and communities all across our country. Canada will implement their $1.3 billion border plan as per Prime Minister Trudeau, and they will be reinforcing the border with new choppers, technology, personnel, enhanced coordination with our American partners, and increased resources to stop the flow of fentanyl. Nearly 10,000 frontline personnel are and will be working on protecting the border. In addition, Canada is making new commitments to appoint a fentanyl czar. We will list cartels as terrorists, ensure 24/7 eyes on the border, launch a Canada-U.S. joint task force to combat organized crime, fentanyl, and money laundering. I have also signed a new intelligence directive on organized crime and fentanyl, and we will be backing it with $200 million. Now, this is exactly why Donald Trump said, I'm putting tariffs and signed the executive action over the weekend on Canada and on Mexico. There were a lot of people that didn't understand the Canada aspect of this. So I'm going to break it down a couple of different ways so you understand why the Canada part was so important. The worry is that we were going to do a great job of sealing up the the southern border, and that would make the northern border, which is much more porous, more of a focus on from cartels, human trafficking, fentanyl, the list goes on, and prospective terrorists to then use. There has been fentanyl that is coming across Canada's border. There's no doubt about that. That is a fact. But when you seal up a southern border, which it looks like we're going to be able to do that in a major way, and we're sending a lot of resources down there. And by the way, Mexico also caved, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But this is the reason why the Canada aspect of this is important, because with Canada would then become a place where these people would look to then expand. And there was also, yes, trade deficits with Canada. But this isn't really as much about the trade deficit as it was about national security. And it was getting a commitment from Canada like, hey, you guys aren't going to look the other way any longer, okay? Like these drugs that are coming across are as dangerous as the illegal immigrants coming across the southern border at record numbers, because the drugs coming across and the fentanyl that's killing millions of Americans, or hundreds of thousands of Americans, I should say, and the number one killer of people in this country, I think it's 45 and under now, is fentanyl overdoses in America. So we've got a problem here. It may not be human beings coming across, but pills are coming across. And every pill that's coming across laced with fentanyl is a killing machine in the United States of America. This is a problem. You add then the compounding aspect that maybe people would choose to not try to get across the southern border anymore because it's easier to get across the northern border with Canada. And that's why Donald Trump said Canada is now going to implement a $1.3 billion border plan, reinforcing the border with new choppers, something that wasn't there. That's a good thing. Technology and personnel, that wasn't there. That's a good thing. And also, there's going to be a true cooperation partnership, coordination with our American partners, and increased sources to stop the flow of fentanyl. Nearly 10,000 frontline personnel are and will be working on protecting the border. All of these things are good for America. Does that mean that we're at war with Canada? No. But the sad part is it took Donald Trump threatening to impose and then signing it so it would happen, a 25% tariff, to get either of these, quote, allies to do the right thing. Mexico was not going to do the right thing. Canada was not going to do the right thing. And the only reason why Canada surrendered and Trump wins yet again, after this phone call with President Trump and Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau announcing this $1.3 billion border plan, which is really not a lot of money if you think about it, compared to what we're sending to corrupt nations, and we're going to get into U.S. aid in a minute. Holy crap, that's a whole nother story. But you look at this. This was a measured request by America. Trudeau also put out a tweet. I'm going to read you what he wrote. He said, quote, I just had a good call with President Trump. Canada is implementing our $1.3 billion border plan, reinforcing the border with new choppers, technology, and personnel, enhanced coordination with our American partners, and increased resources to stop the flow of fentanyl. Nearly 10,000 frontline personnel are and will be working on protecting the border. You notice that it almost sounds like I'm reading the same exact tweet. Just two different names changed. That's how much clearly Donald Trump wanted them to be on the same page. Trudeau then says, in addition, Canada is making new commitments to appoint a fentanyl czar. We will list cartels as terrorists. Notice that is something new. Why did they do it before? Hell if I know, but this is why you have to try to use every piece of leverage that you have. And clearly over Canada, that was what Donald Trump understood, and it was tariffs to then get Trudeau to do his damn job. So now Canada is following America's lead and listing cartels as terrorists, ensuring 24/7 eyes on the border, launch a Canada-U.S. joint task force to combat organized crime, fentanyl, and money laundering. I've also signed a new intelligence directive on organized crime and fentanyl, and we will be backing it with $200 million. Proposed tariffs, Trudeau says, will be paused for at least 30 days while we work together. Is this over? For all intents and purposes, the tariff threat, I think, is over as long as Trudeau does it the right way. It is sad that it took Donald Trump doing this. But the reality is, this is not just a victory. And look, there's people out there that are like I started the show by saying, are you tired of winning yet? And there's people that are just looking at this through political eyes. And I understand that. There are people that are like, now he's bowing down to us. Now, this is another Trump win. Look, this isn't a Trump win as much as this is a win for national security and the safety of kids and grandkids who are ODing accidentally on fentanyl. Yes, they are taking a pill. It may be Adderall, it may be Ritalin, it may be Oxy, it may be codeine, whatever it may be. But people take these pills without the intention of dying and ODing. And so many of them don't even know they're taking counterfeit pills. They think it's the real thing. So they think they're taking something that they become addicted to, or black market, however you want to describe it. And then all of a sudden they're dead because of fentanyl-laced pills. That is, you want to talk about the silent killer in this country. Fentanyl is the silent killer. It's the worst terrorism this country has ever seen, because we know who's selling it, and we know who's bringing it in, and we know where it's coming from, and they're not stopping it. The Biden-Harris administration could care less. They weren't going to fight this battle. And Donald Trump is also a guy, and this goes back to what he understands about addiction. I go back to Trump, and one of the things that I've always related with Donald Trump with is the fact that he drinks Diet Coke. He didn't drink Diet Coke because he doesn't drink liquor. I'm the same way. I got hit by a drunk driver when I was young. That drunk driver died. We lived, thank goodness. And I could care less about alcohol my entire life. It's not because I was an alcoholic. It wasn't because I gave up drinking. And if I did, that would have been fine. But it's just because I saw how destructive alcohol is at a very young age. When there's a dead body, you've got to walk over. That happened to me as a child. Donald Trump saw alcoholism in his family. He has witnessed it destroy people around him. He has a genuine heart and a passion for stopping people from dying on drugs. That's not a political issue, by the way. It's not Republican or Democrat. We should all agree that we should do everything in our power to stop the flow of drugs that are coming into this country, especially drugs that can kill you with you having no intent to die. I talked to a mother recently in D.C. whose daughter took a pill that was Adderall. She thought it was Adderall. And the daughter took it during finals week in high school. A friend of hers had an Adderall, and she was like, I got to stay up and cramming for, I think it was SAT or ACT that was coming up on top of it. And so she was like trying to, focus in. By the way, ask any kid in college or high school if they've borrowed a friend's Adderall or tell you the truth. Yes, during a finals week or whatever I've taken. Daughter's dead. Can't get her back. Why? Because the pill was laced with fentanyl. That is a perfect example of what is happening in this country. You have people that lives are being destroyed because of these little pills they think are not a threat. because they don't know what's happening. They don't know about the fentanyl, and it's costing kids their lives. And this is why Donald Trump is going after not only the cartels and saying they're terrorist organizations, and now he's convinced Canada to do the exact same thing. That's a good thing. That's harmony. That's what allies should be working on. But he's also saying, I'm coming after you because you are a killer. You're not putting a gun to someone's head and pulling the trigger, but what you are doing is giving them a pill that you know is laced with it, and you know wasn't probably mixed correctly, and you know is going to kill a certain percentage of the people that take those pills. The best way I can describe it from a police officer that explained to me was this: these cartel members, and they're terrorists. You get a bag of these fake pills. There is zero doubt in their mind when they're selling those pills that some of those pills are death. Some of them are going to be mixed better. But if you put a ballpoint pen into an empty, equal, or Splenda package and you pull it out, the residue left in that empty package is enough to kill you. So these guys are mixing this stuff in a bathtub or in a plastic barrel. They don't care that some of those pills are 100% going to kill someone because they are cartels. They sell drugs, and they don't mind if some of their people die. They're not making this stuff in a lab the way that, the real pills are made. And the real pills aren't made with fentanyl. And so this is how we got to this point. I am so thankful this is happening. I'm glad that Canada has come around quickly. Took less than 36 hours after Donald Trump announced it. Less than 36 hours. This is what winning looks like for all Americans. There are far too many Democratic children, independent children, Republican children, grandchildren that have died from this stuff, adults who have died from this stuff and orphaned their kids with no intent to kill themselves. These are terrorist organizations. They should be treated that way. And I'm glad that the president is doing it. 1-877-381-3811. 1-877-381-3811. Ben Ferguson filling in for the great one, Mark Levin. We'll be right back.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
270 north down the whole Montrose Road, there is still the emergency road work in the right lane, causing very slow traffic in the Beltway, and delays continue northbound on Poplar Road to Middlebrook Road. And there is also the emergency road work northbound in the local lanes before Montrose Road in the left lane, and that is also causing delays. Crash activity on 95 southbound between Lord and Woodbridge. That's a left lane block. Traffic very slow from Woodbridge, and delays continue from Dumfries to the Centerport Parkway. And delays on 395 southbound from Washington Boulevard to Glebe Road. Northbound at Sophie Foundry Channel to the 14th Street Bridge, and watch out for an accident that was 395 in the 3rd Street Tunnel. Now from Garage Bridge on forecast.
Tonight, partly cloudy and low around 47. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and breezy with a high near 56.
Sometimes it feels like the world is moving at hyperspeed and you can't keep up because it's one thing then another. Don't forget the meeting and the yoga class and the dinner reservation, but then you get into the all-new Nissan Murano and you feel the breeze from the panoramic moonroof while the massaging seats melt away the tension of the day. And you realize that
That work out? Well, it's time to throw your overpriced big wireless contract overboard too, folks. You don't need to pay $100 per person every month just to get a free phone. Pure Talk, my cell phone company, says no to inflated prices. With a qualifying plan of just $45 a month, you can choose an iPhone 14 or a Samsung Galaxy for $0. And yes, this is for the premium service. Unlimited talk, text, 25 gigs of data, and mobile hotspot at a fraction of the price of the big three. All in America's most dependable 5G network. So get your iPhone 14 or Samsung Galaxy for $0 before it runs out with a qualifying plan by dialing pound 250 and say the keyword Mark Levin. And Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team will help you make the switch. Claim your new iPhone or Galaxy with qualifying purchase from Pure Talk, America's wireless company.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
The WMAL Free Speech Forum, the first 100 days, Sunday, April 27th at the Birchmere. Details at WMAL.com.
All right, welcome back. It is the Mark Levin Show. Ben Ferguson filling in for the great one. Donald Trump having major victories over Canada and Mexico for all of us, mainly on the issue of national security, border security, and stopping fentanyl flowing into this country from across our southern and our northern border. Let's break down also the concessions and the agreement that has also come from Mexico since we just covered Canada. All right. So what was in there? What should you be excited about? Number one, Mexico has agreed to take several actions to address U.S. concerns about migration in exchange for this 30-day delay in the tariffs so they can, quote, continue to negotiate. The key commitments include, number one, increased border security. Mexico has pledged to enhance enforcement efforts, particularly its southern border with Guatemala, to reduce the flow of migrants traveling north through Mexico. Number two, a crackdown on smuggling networks. Mexico committed to intensifying efforts to dismantle human trafficking and the smuggling operations, which they've been more than happy to be a part of the entire time that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris were in charge. They also agreed to expand the migrant processing. Mexico said, all right, fine, we agree to increase the use of programs that allow migrants to apply for asylum or legal status in Mexico instead of traveling to the United States of America. Number four, they agreed to cooperation with the U.S. Both countries, they said in their statement, all right, and you can agree to disagree if you believe them or not, but they're claiming that both countries are committed to working more closely to manage migration flows and share intelligence. Simply put, this is what Donald Trump said we needed. We need to reduce the number of migrants, illegal immigrants, reaching the U.S.-Mexico border, which was the primary concern behind the tariffs. And now it looks like Mexico understands they better shut up and do it the right way. You're not dealing with Biden and Harris anymore. You're dealing with Donald J. Trump, and he's not here to screw around. He has a mandate. Now, the 30-day delay is also the reason why Mexico was so desperate for this, and they conceded so quickly was they said, number one, we need more time to negotiate. Right. And this is their spin in their country. Like, well, it allows us more time to work on a long-term trade solution without immediate economic disruptions that would have hurt Canada or would have hurt Mexico much more than it would have hurt America in the short term. It also was stability for businesses that were putting a lot of pressure on Mexico to get this done on both sides of the border, because companies are relying on cross-border trade and they get a temporary reprieve. I'll give you a great example of this. Car manufacturing. There are cars that actually, in the process of being put together, go back and forth, depending on what's being done to the car, from Mexico and the U.S. multiple times. This allows for that stability. And this also is a consumer price relief point, because delaying the tariffs will help prevent short-term price hikes on imported goods from Mexico, which Mexico, by the way, really doesn't want. America doesn't want it either, but it's going to hurt Mexico a lot more. That is part of the reason why we're having this conversation. Now, I want to get your phone calls, get your reaction to all this. The number, 1-877-381-3811. You can send me your comments on Instagram as well if you can't get through.
At
Ben Ferguson Podcast. On X, it's Ben Ferguson Show. I read them all during the break. Send me your comments on X, Ben Ferguson Show, Instagram, Ben Ferguson Podcast. We'll be right back. I really don't want you to think about this as wins like, and yeah, we kicked their AWS. Okay. Like these are big wins for the rule of law and respected borders, national security, and human trafficking and drug overdoses that have become a pandemic, an epidemic in the United States of America. You remember when everybody was freaking out over everybody that was dying over COVID, and that was tragic. Do you know that fentanyl like beats living crap out of those numbers? And we shut down an entire world for that. I just want to put that in perspective for you. Fentanyl kills more people than COVID did. And we shut down an entire world for that. That is why you got to get this done. Now, let me go back to Mexico real quick on a couple more things. Delaying these tariffs, and this is the reason why they desperately wanted to agree to all this with Trump and delay these tariffs, is because they wanted to help prevent short-term price hikes on imported goods from Mexico. And the supply chain continuity was the core point for Mexico that was going to crush them economically. Industries dependent on Mexican imports, such as auto manufacturing, agriculture, they wanted to avoid an immediate supply chain disruptions because they had really not planned for it. And so when I mentioned this a minute ago, these cars go back and forth multiple times. Many cars are manufactured because they'll bring part of it to be done in America, go back across the border to get the rest of it done and bring it back. I mean, there's multiple car manufacturers that go back and forth multiple times. Multiple times. This was going to have major pain for those manufacturers. That is something that Donald Trump does not want to hurt these manufacturers or the workers or the consumer. Mexico really didn't want it to happen, and that's part of the reason why I knew we had leverage. This also was an issue, I think, of market confidence, and especially for investors in Canada and Mexico. This is a dual thing here. Investors in financial markets, they are now looking at this as a positive sign. They don't like uncertainty. They don't like volatility in the marketplace. They want this to be simple. And if you look at Wall Street, you know, it closed, down 122. That's like a normal day of trading. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. It was a lot worse than that at some points during the day. So there's a lot of companies that are like, okay, we can finally take a breather. We can relax a little bit. And finally, it signals also what Donald Trump was wanting to get. It signals a willingness for a real diplomatic solution rather than immediate economic penalties for everyone involved, and that included the U.S. But when these countries weren't doing the right thing and they were looking the other way on the fentanyl coming in and the human trafficking and the drug smuggling in general and everything that was coming across the southern border and the northern border. And I want to be clear, I'm not saying that Mexico is the same as Canada on these abuses. Clearly, Mexico is a much bigger abuser of this. But Canada was looking the other direction as well. And Donald Trump's like, look, I need commitments from both of you because I know when I crush Mexico, people are going to look for another way in. And that's going to be Canada. And you guys aren't doing a very good job right now. I'm asking you for to be on the same team, not look the other direction. Right? Like that's what I'm asking for here. The crackdown on smuggling networks is also a huge victory for safety because Mexico, not only do they commit to intensifying efforts to dismantle human trafficking and smuggling operations, I think it's pretty clear that Donald Trump put them on notice quietly that if you guys, and we've declared them a terrorist group, like these cartels are terrorist groups, like, do you want a war? You want us to actually go to war with these cartels, and you have all of this carnage and economic sanctions and us going to war with the cartels. And I think Donald Trump was pretty clear about this. He was fine with an all-out war because he needed to save this country. Like this was an all-out war. He needed to save it. And the American people gave a mandate to save it. The American people said, save it. And it was an all-out war. There's no doubt that Trump was willing to do this. Look at what just happened. I talked about this, and by the way, you guys, side note here. I started a new podcast the morning of the inauguration. It's a 10 to 12 minute podcast. It's called the 47 Morning Update. It's a simple show to tell you the three big things are going to happen in the morning so you know what to look forward to that day from the Oval Office. I said this on this morning show, and I said, you know, what's amazing about what Trump is doing this time compared to 2016 is he understands who the liars are, the scumbags are in our government. He understands who the liars and the scumbags are in other countries. He understands now how the game is played, and he is literally walking into the room to destroy it all. He is a human wrecking ball, destroying our government in a positive way, ripping it down, the corruption and the career embeds in our government that aren't working on your behalf. And he's going out and he's fighting these fights, whether it's Panama, whether it's Canada, whether it's Mexico, whatever it may be. He's blowing up terrorists again, ISIS in caves, for goodness sakes. And he has a mandate to do it. He's not waiting to do it because this isn't about negotiating. This is about protecting America, putting America first, and protecting our citizens, which is exactly why he was elected. I said this on TV on Fox News show the other day, and I meant it then, and I mean it now. I truly believe God spared Donald Trump's life for this exact moment. In fact, I think that it was a blessing that Donald Trump did not win re-election in 2020 because I think he's done more in the first 2 weeks since the inauguration on January the 20th than he could have probably done a second term. Because seeing the corruption play out and the extremism of DEI and the extremism of the trans gay radical agenda and the extremism on our college campuses and the extremism of the people that become pro-terrorists on our college campuses and the anti-Semitism, none of that would have come out the way that it did unless there was a Democrat like Kamala Harris and Joe Biden in the White House. I believe this was God's plan for this country. And I believe that he said, okay, I'm gonna let you guys, fall. I'm gonna let the American people see you do your thing where you want to mutilate young children and you want to sexualize young children with the books that you have in the schools. And you want to cover up the crimes of of these trans individuals. And you want to normalize a mental health issue. And I'm going to take my hand off you. You're going to get to do what you said you were going to do. And the people are going to have a moment where they decide what they want for the future of this country. And that moment came in 4 years. With the resurrection of Donald Trump, who, by the way, in 2020, political wisdom, no one thought he was going to be back in the White House. People that played the game, they were jumping ship. Look at Mike Pence. Mike Pence on January the 6th, January 7th, he was like, all right, I'm out of here. When everything happened at the Capitol, he's like, this is my moment to separate myself from Donald Trump and this administration because it's going down. It's a sinking ship and I'm jumping off. He got it wrong, by the way. I think we all agree. But everybody in politics thought Donald Trump was done. No one was thinking that Donald Trump was going to ever get back to the White House. I'm not even sure Donald Trump thought he was get back to the White House. But I do believe that this is a moment that we are all going to remember where Donald Trump is walking in there and he is breaking everything because the American people authorized him to do it. And he's not doing it in some, I would argue, and the media is going to try to hit him on this, but I think many people are not listening to the media ever again because they know the lie. We would have never known how corrupt the media was if it wasn't, by the way, for what we witnessed during COVID. The lies about the Hunter Biden laptop. We wouldn't have believed how corrupt the deep state was if it wasn't for the 51 intel officials that knew that Hunter Biden's laptop was real and they wanted to alter and change the outcome of an election. That is election interference. And they all signed their name to a letter to lie to the American people. We wouldn't have known that without Donald Trump losing. Think about that. We wouldn't have known any of that without Donald Trump losing. We wouldn't have known about all the corruption with U.S. aid. Staffers told to stay out of their D.C. headquarters today. Did you hear about this? USAID staffers were told to stay out of DC headquarters after Elon Musk said Trump agreed to shut it down. Just a quote ball of worms. And the left is like, they're losing their minds right now because this is actually happening. Listen to the White House press secretary. This is what we found with USAID. Listen.
These are some of the insane priorities that organization has been spending money on. $1.5 million to advance DEI in Serbia's workplaces, $70,000 for a production of a DEI musical in Ireland, $47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia, $32,000 for a transgender comic book in Peru. I don't know about you, but as an American taxpayer, I don't want my dollars going towards this crap, and I know the American people don't either, and that's exactly what Elon Musk has been tasked by President Trump to do, to get the fraud, waste, and abuse out of our federal government.
Nobody in their right mind is in favor of the things that Caroline Leavitt, the White House press secretary, just said there. No one. And then this is the part that really makes me laugh. The people that are in charge of USAID, they go to the media like the media is going to save them, and listen to how nervous they are.
I talked to the security guard just in there. He said he has been given specific orders to prevent employees of USAID from entering the building today. And I just find that to be absolutely ridiculous. And this is no way to govern. This is no way to treat public servants. This is no way for us to conduct our foreign policy of the country. So I just had to show up today, deal with my own eyes, the chaos of this administration and if their attacks upon public servants in our country.
I love how they act like they're do-gooders. Donald Trump was given a mandate to get rid of people just like you. He was given a mandate to expose the fraud, waste, and abuse of our tax dollars. Caroline Leavitt going through that list of the abuse of U.S. aid as she described it. And everyone involved, by the way, should be not only fired, I think some of them should be investigated for this. My tax dollars should not be going to the list that she gave us a moment ago.
These are some of the insane priorities that organization has been spending money on. $1.5 million to advance DEI in Serbia's workplaces, $70,000 for a production of a DEI musical in Ireland, $47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia, $32,000 for a transgender comic book in Peru. I don't know about you, but as an American taxpayer, I don't want my dollars going towards this crap, and I know the American people don't either.
She's right. And that's why President Trump, supported by Elon Musk, announced significant action targeting alleged misuse of federal aid funds. And the key points are the closure of the
you fuckers.
Amazing. This is what we want. We are not, and Elon Musk highlighted federal grants to all of these different places where it's clearly money laundering. There is money going to people, and it's not actually going to people that they're claiming it's going to help. This isn't chaos. This is the president paying off on what he was told his job was from the American people, which was to stop wasting my tax dollars. It's very simple. Stop wasting my tax dollars. It's the same conversation Trump had with Mexico's president, announcing that, hey, there's going to be the deployment of 10,000 troops to strengthen the U.S.-Mexico border that we're not going to have to pay for. By the way, liberals should be in favor of this win over Mexico. You want to know why? All the gun grabbers out there, pay attention. Throw this in their face next time they tell you they don't like Trump. This also increased the U.S. efforts to curb firearm trafficking in and out of Mexico. So if you're a gun, grabber, if you're a anti-Second Amendment person, right, you think guns are all bad, stick that in your liberal pipe and smoke it. We'll be right back.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
Ready for a free, rewarding career path? Lenata's ADEI program offers no-cost automotive technician training for students. Learn from the best and secure your future today. Visit WMAL.com/auto. That's WMAL.com/auto.
Recently in a movie theater.
Neil, you're back.
I couldn't be away from you, Brenda.
Kiss me.
Oh, not feeling well here.
There's never a good time to get sick. The Virginia Department of Health reminds you to stay up to date on your flu, RSV, and COVID-19 vaccines.
On 66 westbound, just after Route 29 in Centerville, an accident being moved to the right shoulder. This has traffic jammed up in the Fairfax County Parkway. Earlier crash on 95 southbound between Norton and Woodbridge has been moved to the left shoulder, but some delays remain headed from Springfield towards Norton, and more delays southbound from Woodbridge headed towards Prince William Parkway. In Prince George's County, a couple of accidents to watch out for on 450. One is in Bladensburg on 450 at 57th Avenue, and in Bowie, watch out for the crash on Maryland 450 at Stony Brook Drive. Napa GarageRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwater 7 forecast.
Tonight, partly cloudy, a low around 47. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and breezy with a high near 56.
The Bigger Pockets Podcast Network is your home, get it, for real estate investing.
Very tired of people saying that your primary residence is not an investment.
Get real talk from real estate pros about investing strategies that work.
I bought a house for $1 and it makes me $1 million.
You can become a real estate millionaire over the course of like 5 or 6 years.
No one needs a stock. No one needs cryptocurrency. They need a house.
Bigger Pocket. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
While serving in Iraq, our vehicle was hit. They didn't think I was going to make it. I'm Latoya Lucas, and I'm a veteran. I had to learn to live with the scars, both visible and invisible.
EAV helps veterans like Latoya get the benefits they've earned. They help more than 1 million veterans every year.
My victory is overcoming my wound so I can help other veterans.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org. Clarity and context for a complex world.
To be far more thorough and specific than ever before.
News Talk 105.9. Making sense of the news. Making sense of your money.
The state of the economy, the ability to afford your life. That's what people want.
In Colonnade, weekdays 3 to 6 p.m.
The kind of thing I pay attention to. I'm looking at.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news. Making sense of your world.
This is no conspiracy theory. This is a fact. Here it is.
Mark Levin, weekdays 6 to 9 p.m.
Listen to this, would you?
News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
Back in time. In life, you'll hear a lot of people tell you that you can do anything you want. I'm here to tell you that's true. Since I was a little girl, I dreamed of becoming a successful singer and entertainer. It took a lot of hard work, dedication, and perseverance to find my success. It's worth it. I never gave up on my dreams. Remember, you can never have a dream come true until you've had a dream. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
How about it, boy? Come on there, tough guy.
Online search
Come on, bring your army, Wiggin.
Hundreds of things that Cumulus Boost can identify and fix. And that's how we boost your findability. CumulusBoost.com. CUMULUS Boost.com.
Making sense of the tragedy.
Commercial flight 50-30-42 crash.
Come on, you guys. Test my ability as a moderator. Come on.
There are no survivors. We're heartbroken for the family and loved ones, passengers and crew members. Additional Secretary Pete Atkinson. Mistake was made.
We are going to conduct a thorough investigation.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
Praying for the victims and first.
Your credit cards, one of the most secure and hassle-free ways to pay. The DC politicians want to change that with the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill. This bill lets corporate megastores pick how your credit card is processed, allowing them to use untested payment networks that jeopardize your data security and rewards. Tell Congress to guard your card, because Americans lose when politicians choose. Learn more at guardyourcard.com, guardyourcard.com, paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to Big Wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Here's how to get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. Our U.S.-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit ConsumerCellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for autopay and eBill.
Are you a parent of a child with disabilities who desperately needs a break? Then you need to know about Jill's House. To find out more, visit our website, jillshouse.org.
The WMAL Free Speech Forum. First 100 days.
Sunday, April 27th at the Birchmere. Details at WMAL.com.
Welcome back. It is the Mark Levin Show. Ben Ferguson filling in for the great one. If you just joined us, Canada's caved in. They will pause their proposed tariffs for 30 days and will implement a $1.3 billion border plan. After this phone call with President Trump, Canada's Prime Minister Trudeau announcing that nearly 10,000 troops will be sent to safeguard the border under Trump's pressure. Then Trudeau said, okay, I concede. Let's have a 30-day delay on U.S. tariffs. U.S.-Mexico joint force to combat crime and then also will be formed, and the flow of fentanyl will be stopped into this country as well. There's going to be $200 million that Trudeau is going to put in towards a intelligence directive on going after organized crime. Trudeau described it as a, quote, good phone call with President Trump. VP Vance on the tariffs in Canada. If the Canadians are going to use their economic power to penalize Americans, I think it's totally responsible for the American president to say that we're done being taken advantage of. This was never a joke. President Trump put it this way: as president, it is my responsibility to ensure the safety of all Americans. And I'm doing just that. I'm very pleased with this initial outcome. And the tariffs announced on Saturday will be paused for a 30-day period to see whether or not a final economic deal with Canada can be constructed. Fairness for all and safety for the American people. Now, I'm not trying to grandstand here, but you want to know what MAGA looks like? In the past 2 weeks, Mexico caved, Panama caved, Colombia caved, Venezuela caved, Canada panicked. Mass deportations are happening. Hostages are home. DEI programs have ended. Bureaucracy has been slashed. FBI purge is underway. U.S. aid funding canceled. Gender ideology eliminated. Doge has already saved you billions of your tax dollars. 51 Intel agents that lied to you about the Hunter Biden laptop lost their clearance. And border crossings have dropped by 93%. Hell, even Donald Trump turned the water back on in California with the reservoirs filled back up. You don't know what winning looks like? I mean this. If you're a liberal and I just gave you that list, how are you not a fan of Donald Trump right now? We'll be right back.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
We are going to conduct a
Candy.
I guarantee you certain people ain't happy with this news. About it, Rum. Bring your little girlfriend, A-Cat, with you. You two dumb fuckers. Come on. I was in your chat today. That was me as prostitute. You're a lying fucker, Shay. You didn't have no chat before JC went live. Bragging you've been around since when? 2011? You've been in YouTube? Wow, must be nice to have nothing to do but sit in fucking YouTube all day long every day for 15 years. Holy fuck. You know, when I entered this fucking place, I knew what I was getting into. Come on, Wiggin. You got a long ways to catch up. According to Rusty, I've been on your panel at least 550 times. Probably more than that, but I don't know, that's a lot. Listening to you talk about troll, Shay, and saying that you yourself were never a troll is laughable. That was me that posted comments about Trolls Inc. What a fuck. And then there's NorCal in there. Wow, you guys are just fucking wonderful. So there you go, Ross, too. I cloned you and went into Shay's chat today. How you like that? I wasn't going to say anything, but with the news that's coming out and what's going on, you know, I don't know how many times that JC let Shay up on her panel to come at me. And she went up on Acid Drip's fucking panel that day and said her fucking spew there. Now, where the hell is Acid Drip? Now she's all with fucking Raging Demon. Zenny's buddy. You guys are fucked up. How about it, King Rob? Come on, King Rob. How about you come on up? Come on up. Let's see who does what, King Rob. Come take me on one. I dare you. I'll challenge any of you motherfuckers. Especially you, Rusty. Come on, Rusty. I got you cloned and you got a wrench in my chat. That must fucking piss you right off. I bet it does. You don't know what to do. You don't dare come in here because you guys don't like getting timed out. At least Wiggin tries. Charlie, well, I timed Charlie out once. He doesn't. He might try to. I don't know. He's an idiot. You're a dumb fucker, Charlie, and so is it your brother. Look at you guys. You look like you've been fucking sniffing paint cans. Wow, Alicia, you're dumber than I thought you were to begin with. I should pull $100 bill out right now and show it to you. I bought a box of Russell Stover candies. I ate the coconut one first. Everybody must be at JC's chat. How about you there, John Duh? SS.
Thought he was going to have sex with a 16-year-old teen, but instead the 15 Trent brothers slapped and kicked the man. All 15 initially faced hate crime charges. Those were dropped in favor of 15 have pleaded guilty to assault or false imprisonment and are serving home detention or probation. Charges against 5 others still working their way through the courts, with 3 facing the hate crime charge. John Matthews on WMAL and WMAL.com.
A 24-year-old Ravens fan seen on a viral video. Commanders fans, after an October game between the teams, pleads guilty to 3 counts of second-degree assault. John Thomas has been released after a 105-day jail stay as part of a plea deal. Fox 45 alcohol addiction.
This podcast is check out
Great one tonight. So good to be with you. So there is a trend that is happening when it comes to winning, and I hope that this show, when I'm on here, will help inspire other people in other places to look at what other states are doing when they're winning, especially when it comes to cracking down on illegal immigrants. And that brings me to this headline. If you live outside of Texas, and the majority of you listening right now do, pay attention to what Texas just did so that you know how to fight back when your local elected officials tell you, or your governor tells you, or state officials tell you, well, we just don't have the resources needed to round up illegal immigrants, right? There's a lot of states that are not, quote, sanctuary states, that aren't as crazy as like Colorado or California or New York, but they're not actively trying to get in the game to get rid of illegal immigrants. And their excuse is, well, we just don't have the manpower to do it. So that is their cop-out for not working with the Trump administration and our federal government, et cetera. All right, so here's a new hack for you. The Texas National Guard has now been granted the authority to make immigration arrests. What does that mean? It means that you just, in essence, hired thousands, if not tens of thousands of new people to arrest illegal immigrants instantly, like instantly. Let me explain how it works so you know what to advocate for where you live. This memorandum of understanding between Customs and Border Protection, all right, the CBP, and the state of Texas will immediately grant the Texas National Guard soldiers the authority to make immigration arrests within the state of Texas. Peter Flores, the CBP acting commissioner, authored the memorandum of understanding. Now, this memo, which has not yet been disseminated to all Texas border sectors, will allow the soldiers apparently to perform roving patrols and exercise all the duties of an immigration agent, so long as a U.S. immigration officer or Border Patrol agent is accompanying them. Now, according to this memo of understanding, the ratio of soldier to immigration officers is preliminarily listed as 1 officer to 4 soldiers. So if for every 1 Border Patrol agent in Texas, you can take 4, you can expand him like a 1 to, and then add 4. So 1 person becomes 5 is how you should be looking at this. So, all right, you give me 1 immigration officer or Border Patrol agent, and I'm going to give you 4 other people to then go out and arrest people with you. This is what you refer to as thinking outside the box. I don't need to hire a bunch of new people necessarily. I don't have to wait to train them up for 6 months or a year and have them shadow people. No, I can. How do I solve this problem right now? That is exactly what Texas is now doing. Title 8, United States Code, arrest authority was granted, quote, to multiple federal law enforcement agencies just days after Trump's inauguration. In fact, on January the 23rd, the Department of Homeland Security authorized federal law enforcement agents to investigate, determine the location of, and apprehend migrants in an illegal status. Now, the details of this memo, which were, by the way, obtained and released in recent days, was actually reported by none other than CBS News. They're very similar to the memo of understanding that was also reviewed by Breitbart, Texas, where you get, by the way, they have great news on what's going on at the border. Duties of the Texas National Guard soldiers are law enforcement related, quote, generally reserved for agents assigned to specific agencies under the Department of Homeland Security. So what did Donald Trump say? Hey, I need more people that can arrest people. You're telling me that's a problem. How do we fix the problem? Here's how we're going to fix it. The latest granting of immigration arrest authority adds at least, right now, this number could significantly go up. It adds at least 3,000 Texas Army National Guard soldiers to the already increased number of ATF, FBI, United States deputy marshals who are now assisting the Department of Homeland Security in enforcing federal immigration laws in Texas. So, what is the takeaway from all of this that they're listing right now? You need to be going to your elected officials in your state saying, hey, this idea is pretty awesome. we really like this. We think this is something that should happen. We think that this is really important. This is something that we want you to be advocating for. We're tired of illegal immigrants in this country. We are tired of what we're witnessing right now. And you notice how much is getting done right now? God, it's unbelievable, isn't it? It's unbelievable. Donald Trump, by the way, has also just come out, and this has happened in the last couple of minutes. Trump has signed an executive order to create U.S. Sovereign Wealth Fund. He said we have a lot of things that create wealth, and you've seen that over the last 2 weeks. Here is the president moments ago from the Oval Office.
This is an executive order. Discharges your Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent, and your Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick, to begin a process that will hopefully result in the creation of an American sovereign wealth fund.
Exciting event. We're going to have a sovereign wealth fund, which we've never had. We have a lot of things that create wealth, and you've seen that over the last 2 weeks. I think we've created more wealth. Other people have created de-wealth, the people, my predecessors. We're creating a lot of wealth. Scott, maybe you'd like to say something about it, and I'd ask also Howard to say something about it.
Yes, sir. This is very exciting. We're going to stand this thing up within the next 12 months. We're going to monetize the asset side of the U.S. balance sheet for the American people. We're going to put the assets to work. And I think it's going to be very exciting practices around the world with the combination of liquid assets that we have in this country as we look forward to bring them out for the American people.
But by the way, this is not a crazy idea. We're going to have a sovereign wealth fund, which we've never had, where we create a lot of wealth. We've seen this happen over the last 2 weeks, but we're going to actually look at what we have on the balance sheet and the things that we have, and we're going to actually grow it for the American people. What a novel idea. Run the government the way that we run the private sector. How do we do that? We actually take our heads out of our rear ends. We take our heads out of our rear ends and we sit there and we do something positive for the American people and what they've already invested. What an unbelievable idea. Now, there's going to be a lot of lying, by the way, that's going to be told about these programs. Just get ready for it. Another example of that is all the people that were losing their minds and the tariff critics, for attacking Donald Trump, right? And saying he's going to ruin this economy. When the reality is that Donald Trump is, through these tariffs, is actually trying to save men, women, and children who've died from fentanyl overdoses and securing our borders to make sure that the drugs aren't pouring in, the human trafficking isn't pouring in. Trump advisor Peter Navarro went on Fox News Channel. He said this about the fact that Trump was speaking to the Mexican president and the tariffs have been paused, and this is what winning looks like.
Saw that incident a couple of weeks ago where a Border Patrol agent in Vermont was killed by somebody who came across the border. Now, I want to come back, Peter, if I could, to Mexico. Sheinbaum has said that she'll put 10,000 National Guard troops on the border to try to stem the flow of fentanyl and illegal migrants. AMLO did the same thing back in 2021. And after that, it led to record amounts of fentanyl crossing into this country, record numbers of illegal migrants crossing into this country. Do you have confidence that Sheinbaum will actually act, whereas AMLO didn't?
John, the problem, I think people have to understand how the process of fentanyl killing Americans work. Mm-hmm. The communist Chinese are culpable because they make the precursor chemicals that are combined to make the fentanyl. And I was back in the first term, as you know, John, we were fighting the fentanyl wars back then. Sure. And every time China promised to do something, it just never followed through. And so it comes in, the drug cartels make the stuff, off it goes on mules. They're sending it up and around through Canada. Now, I am confident that if Mexico, China, and Canada do, which is what was clearly within their capabilities to do to stop that, it will stop. But if it doesn't stop, President Trump will continue his relentless pressure to make sure that Americans stop dying. This is carnage. We've kind of grown immune to the fact that 200 Americans die every single day at the hands of, and by the way, buried the lead, 18 to 45 age group. These are the highest numbers. It's a leading cause of death for that demographic. It's our prime working class people, and we're having our economy hollowed out in part by these deaths. So I'm confident that President Trump is going to get this job done, but it's going to have to be Canadian Prime Minister recognizing it's a drug war, not a trade war, and stop this talk about escalation.
I think you get a lot of. I love how he explained that there, right? Like the way that he just explained it is spot on. These people are lying, and they don't care about who's getting hurt. They just don't care. They don't care who's going to die. They don't care if Americans are being hurt. And they want this to be a wide open border. And you got to ask yourself the question, why do they want it to be a wide open border? Who are they helping out? Who are they working for? Why are they allowing this to happen? This goes back to putting America first. I mentioned this earlier in the show. Trump said USAID is out of control. It's run by radical left lunatics. Here is, again, Donald Trump at the Oval Office moments ago.
The first term of USAID is something right in some respects. I love the concept of that program. Sure, I love the concept, but they turn out to be radical left lunatics. And the concept of it is good, but it's all about the people.
It's all about the people. It's all about the people. That's what this is about. 1-877-381-3811. Ben Ferguson filling in for the great one. You can send me your comments, by the way, if you can't get through, on Instagram at Ben Ferguson Podcast. On X, Ben Ferguson Show. And also, check out my new morning podcast. If you love Trump, you'll love it. It's a 10 to 12-minute podcast called the 47 Morning Update. I give you the 3 big stories coming out of the Oval Office each morning. It is quick. It is fast. Check it out, if you would. The 47 Morning Update with Ben Ferguson. We'll be right back.
News Talk 105.9.
Ben Ferguson, I believe, is in Philadelphia. Yeah. That kind of reminds me of JC over the truckers and the strike or whatever they were doing. She just saying, shoot out the tires, just shoot out the tires. Yeah. She did it with Biden when Biden rescinded all the permits to drill on federal land, right? They cut that oil line right off. And JC didn't give a shit. She didn't give a shit. Those people lost their jobs. JC didn't dare bet me double or nothing. You notice nobody fucking says that I owe her $1,000 still. I'd like to see if I can try that again. Hey, for everybody to know, Rusty is a Trump hater. Oh, yeah. She's big time. I guarantee you, in the fucking back room, her and Petros and all of them, they talk about Trump. Petros is they're liberals. They're not even liberals, they're lefties. Petros is a big fucking failure in his life. That's why he does what he does. More than likely, he's Spanky. Because I've heard him fucking call people that all the time. Spanky! Petros? How many times on your channel did you call people Spanky? We're in the chat. Now there's Raging Demon over at Shannon's chat earlier. That means Raging and old fucking olive oil arms there must be related. old raging demon. He fucking cried to JC about his dog dying. Oh, I'm so upset. My dog died, JC. I don't fucking go on. My dog died. Oh. Over a dog. I mean, I love dogs, but, you know, they're not human. We have a conscience. Other animals don't have a conscience. It's fucking funny listening to Wiggin complain about another fake apology from Gotti. You let him spew in your chat. He fucking jumped all over me just for letting him up on my fucking panel. I know what he's doing. I know what that fucker is up to. I know what he does. He's a backstabbing motherfucker. Been saying that for a long time. That guy's a backstabbing motherfucker. Why him and Rusty get along so well. Rusty, she fucking crying that Ziggy made a fucking video of her. And she posted the link in the chat. Oh, here it is. And let's let everybody know what bothers me. Rusty. Rusty's got my mother's senior picture pasted on her chat. I think I went to her channel the other day and it was gone. Roasteria 666. It's fucking nothing showed.
News every minute. Turning off Fox for the breaking information they really need to know. Reuters Institute says Newsmax is
Oh, it's back.
finding itself on all major. Download the Newsmax app. Greta Van Susteren, Rob Finnerty, and Carl Higby, and more. Find out why millions of Americans have made the switch. Even President Trump says Newsmax is terrific, and he's watching. So make the switch to Newsmax. Check us out on cable and satellite TV, or download the Newsmax app today. Watch us anytime, anywhere. Remember, Newsmax is real news for real people.
First thing each morning, O'Connor and Company with Larry O'Connor. Weekday mornings from 5 to 9 on WMAL.
Hey Mina, look, you're a good friend. Look at, she's got my mother's senior picture pasted on her channel. Now that's my mother. That picture was taken in 1954. I guess I look like my mother a little bit. All right, look at how pretty my mother is. Isn't she pretty? 1950s girl. Graduated from high school in 1954. Here's for the whole world to see. If you're watching, let me help your channel out there, Rusty. All right.
Crazies do for 4 years, and you get to take your time and make a plan of how you're going to fix it. And you get to watch whether it's the cartels that are now declared as terrorists.
Rusty, I bet you my mother is way better mother than yours is. Your mother doesn't even know you anymore. She doesn't want to. My mother loved me. I was her baby.
It makes a really big difference. It makes an incredible difference. Now walking, okay, let's go. You want to go?
She is a good mother.
Mandate. My mandate is clear.
She was married to a hard man. Rusty.
I'm going to stop you guys.
There she is. My mom right there. She's a nice looking lady, boy. I tell you what, all the guys in school wanted this, Rusty. She gave her heart to my father.
Benefits, government workers. Like we were paying too much for.
Says 3 weeks ago, and she Thumbs up on it. Nobody's commented.
No, they're not working from home.
Wasn't for me looking at some of your stuff, Rusty. You wouldn't even get any views on anything.
Ronnie, what on the market? Ronnie, you there? Yeah. All right, now I got you. Go ahead. We are now working.
Renuba Pina. My mother says, fuck you.
There we go. All right, go ahead. Yes, I got you. Go ahead.
All right. Yeah. So, yeah, I was basically talking about the handle. What I was saying is, I mean, I had my experience with caring for someone that had cancer and was given that at a hospital. But the way I see it, this is a drug that was made in the U.S. I think they got to stop production here first. This is something that's 100 times stronger than any other painkiller. I mean, it's given as a tranquilizer for us and in Africa. And one of the main side effects is death on it. Now, you got to stop production here in order for it to slow down from overseas.
I would say this. I don't know enough about fentanyl when it's used the right way. I do know how deadly it is when it's not mixed correctly and used the right way and fake pills. And the reason why I'm cautious to just blindly agree with what you said is, you remember when everybody was attacking ivermectin and on CNN, they were calling it a horse dewormer when that's not the primary use? Has a lot to use. By the way, my dog, I go get him a prescription every month, and it's the same prescription that I get as a human, right? It's a different potency for what he's been prescribed for, but I go pick it up at a pharmacy at a grocery store. I mean, the idea that we shouldn't be producing fentanyl. Look, there's a lot of drugs that if they're abused, they're bad. I don't know if we should be stopping producing fentanyl in America. If it is done the right way and not abused and not used by drug cartels, it might actually be okay. Ben Ferguson filling in for the Great One. We'll be right back.
Mark Levin here for a trusted sponsor, Advantage Gold. Been reported that from January 2000 to January 2025, the Dow increased 260%, the S&P 500 320%, the Nasdaq 380%, but gold outperformed them all with an incredible 800% growth. So $100,000 investment, let's say an IRA, could have grown to $900,000 or more. See, gold has always been a valuable asset for protection. I trust Advantage Gold because they're rated one of America's top gold companies by TrustLink for 9 consecutive years and have handled over $1 billion in retirement transactions. Right now, they're offering a free guide on protecting your wealth with gold. No cost, no obligation. Just call 800-900-8000. Get your free protection kit. That's 800-900-8000. The guide could make a huge difference in your financial future at absolutely no cost to you. 800-900-8000. Call them now. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional.
Thompson Hill on 210. There is an accident southbound just before Livingston Road. Traffic is crawling from the Beltway. Into Fairfax County, the westbound side of 66 accident has been moved to the right shoulder at 29. Traffic is stop and go from 28. And in Prince George's County on the BW Parkway, northbound at Riverdale slow from Fort Penn to the Beltway. In Greenbelt, northbound BW Parkway is slow from Nassagabi to 197. And now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Tonight, partly cloudy, a low around 47. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and breezy with a high near 56.
Sometimes it feels like the world is moving at hyperspeed and you can't keep up because it's one thing then another. And don't forget the meeting and the yoga class and the dinner reservation. But then you get into the all-new Nissan Murano and you feel the breeze from the panoramic moonroof while the massaging seats melt away the tension of the day. And you realize that sometimes the greatest rush is not rushing at all. Shop the all-new Murano at NissanUSA.com. Panoramic moonroof massaging leather appointed seats are available features.
Making sense of your world on the go. Stream your favorite shows, get the day's top headlines, and access our podcast archives, all with the new WMAL app. This is for you. Get the WMAL app on Google Play or the Apple App Store and stay connected.
We're the stronger than we look type. I've had type 1 diabetes since I was 2. The braver than you think type.
I have to take insulin shots every single day.
The type that will stop at nothing.
No more blood sugar tests.
Absolutely nothing. No more complications until type 1 becomes type none.
Support JDRF's life-changing research, and one day you'll say, I helped turn type 1 into type none. Join us now at jdrf.org.
While serving in Iraq, our vehicle was hit. They didn't think I was going to make it. I'm LaToya Lucas, and I'm a veteran. I had to learn to live with the scars, both visible and invisible.
EAV helps veterans like LaToya get the benefits they've earned. They help more than 1 million veterans every year.
My victory is overcoming my wounds so I can help other veterans.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
No one knows music like Rolling Stone. Singer-writer Brian Hiatt talks the biggest music news from the biggest stars. Almost everyone is teaming up on Drake. It's like Drake versus the world. Yeah. You first met Prince, you were driving for him before you were drumming for him. That's correct.
You kind of have to understand how Stevie began white radio. That's where the money was. That's where it still is. You know what I'm saying?
Rolling Stone music now. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
When your business information is missing or inconsistent across the internet, search engines won't find you, and customers won't either. Help ensure customers see you and not your competitors. Boost your findability. CumulusBoost.com. CUMULUS Boost.com.
Making sense of your morning.
Lots of coverage here on that developing story.
O'Connor and Company, weekday mornings from 5 to 9.
Larry O'Connor here getting you through your morning.
Making sense of Washington.
Asking some very specific questions, some legitimate questions.
Making sense of the double standard.
Then here's the latest example.
Making sense of the headlines.
Let me break it down for you, because there's plenty to break down here.
O'Connor and Company with Larry O'Connor. Mornings from 5 to 9. News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news. Making sense of the tragedy.
Flight 5342 crashed with a Black Hawk helicopter.
Sadly, there are no survivors. David May, News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
Praying for the victims and first responders.
Making sense of the news.
Having kids heal faster. And that's why Starlight is dedicated to its well-being kids across the U.S. Learn how at starlight.org.
WMAL, making sense of the headline. Because common sense isn't so common. Download the WMAL. It's 3 months for free.
Points of pregnancy in an insane world. The Mark Levin Show. Call in now at 877-381-3811.
Welcome back. It is the Mark Levin Show. Ben Ferguson with you. All right, I'm going to have a little fun, though, and I'm going to challenge many of you. You ever want to get an illegal immigrant arrested? I'm not laughing, okay? I'm just saying it's amazing how stupid some of these people are. New Jersey's governor, Phil Murphy, strongly implied that he is harboring an illegal alien in his actual home, as he taunts ICE to do something about it. I'm not joking. This is from YouTube originally, from the governor's office's YouTube page. Are you ready? Here's your governor in New Jersey.
Talking about, I don't want to get into too much detail, but there's someone in our broader universe whose immigration status is not yet at the point that they are trying to get it to. And we said, you know what, let's have her live at our house above our garage. And good luck to the feds coming in to try to get her.
That is the New Jersey governor, Phil Murphy. At an event on stage, I'm sure thinking that it wouldn't go viral. Right? I'm sure he's thinking to himself. In fact, let's just listen to that again. I love how he says they don't have their status where they want to be. Translation, I've got an illegal immigrant living in my in-law wing over my garage, and to ICE, come and get her. Good luck, Donald Trump.
Talking about, I don't want to get into too much detail, but there's someone in our broader universe whose immigration status is not yet at the point that they are trying to get it to. And we said, you know what, let's have her live at our house above our garage. And good luck to the feds coming in to try to get her.
All right. Do your thing, America. Do your thing. I'm going to tweet this out right now. Do your thing, America, is how I'm going to put it. And I'm going to tag Donald Trump. I want every single one of you to help this story go viral. Because if you want to send a message that no one that's in this country illegally is going to be what this governor, and this is the difference between law and order and anarchy and chaos that we've had for the last 4 years. Do your thing, America. I just tweeted this out. The video is there. Let's make Governor Murphy so famous, and let's make sure that Donald Trump and everybody else at ICE and everybody in law enforcement knows about him harboring and mocking America's laws and mocking ICE. Today, I got an illegal immigrant above my garage. What are you going to do about it, ICE? What are you going to do about it, Donald Trump? I just put the video up on X. You can follow me there at Ben Ferguson Show. And the New Jersey governor, a Democrat, Phil Murphy, sticking his finger in the eye of Trump administration, bragging about harboring an illegal alien in his home. By the way, I got to give credit because I love these internet warriors. Steve Guest, I follow him. You should follow him at Steve Guest on X. This is what he does. He is a silent warrior who is out there giving this information. He sent this to me. I was like, no way. This is real. It's real. He actually said this. Yes, he did. We have Donald Trump in charge, and I would hope that every one of you listening will go get this clip, hit that share button, and share it. It's up on mine right now, at Ben Ferguson Show. Go grab it right now and share it so everybody sees that this is a governor in America, a Democrat. And you want to know how much these Democrats hate this country? This is how much they hate America. They don't have any respect for the law. They don't look at people that break in this country illegally as committing crimes. They pick and choose. These are the people that want Donald Trump in prison, but will harbor someone who is an illegal immigrant. And they go, oh, well, they're just waiting on their status to change. I'd love to help their status change from in America to out of America. This goes back to the orchestrated, coordinated effort that I've talked about for so long. They did this on purpose, and they knew that people were going to die. And Phil Murphy, the governor there, is exactly the problem we have right now, is that you have leaders that are like, hey, I know that drugs are going to come in. I know that fentanyl is going to kill people. I know that my citizens are going to die. I know that my citizens are going to be raped. I know that children are going to be molested. I know that my citizens are going to be murdered. I know they're going to be stolen from. I know some of their lives are going to be ruined, and I don't care because I want to import future voters while they wait for, in his words, their status to change. You have to understand, they think that once you get into America, there's no way that America will have the willpower to get you out of this country. So he describes illegal immigrants in America as, oh, they're just waiting for the status to change. That's what Biden and Harris did. Now that's what New Jersey governor is like, hey, here, Donald Trump, here's the middle finger. Hey, ICE, here's the middle finger. Because we have someone, we don't consider them a lawbreaker. No, we just say we're waiting for their status to change.
Talking about, I don't want to get into too much detail, but there's someone in our broader universe whose immigration status is not yet at the point that they are trying to get it to. And we said, you know what, let's have her live at our house above our garage. And good luck to the feds coming in to try to get her.
Good luck to the feds coming in to try to get her. I just put it up there on X. Follow me at Ben Ferguson Show. Let's make Governor Murphy famous. Let's make this comment famous. Let's make sure that every conservative in Donald Trump's administration sees this, because this is where the mandate comes in. This is where you guys on social media can have a real impact and a difference. This is where you can get in the fight. People ask me all the time, how do you make a difference? How do you, well, these are those moments. You share this. You share it on social media, wherever the hell you are. And you shine a light on the abuse of power by this governor who is saying, go ahead, I dare you. Come in. Yeah, good luck trying to come in and get her. Good luck trying to come in here. And we will scoff in your face. We will laugh in your face. Good luck coming in here trying to fix all, you're not going to kick out my illegal immigrants. And by the way, this is clearly a moment where he's saying, I'm a chosen one. Right? Like I'm a chosen one. I'm a governor. I don't play by the same rules as everybody else. I get to pick and choose which illegal immigrants I want in my city and then in my home, in my family. And there's nothing the federal government can do to stop me from doing it. Okay. Let me get to your phone calls. 1-877-381-3811. Jason, line 2, welcome. You are on the Mark Levin Show. Ben Ferguson with you tonight. Hi. Good, sir. How are you?
Good. Yeah,
yeah.
He means business, and I mean, America's fighting a war on two fronts with these drugs. I mean, I'm from Australia, and we basically have our border at the ocean. And, you get caught with drugs coming into Australia, they take your boat, they sink it, they arrest you, and you get sent back to your country. I mean, every country has drug laws.
I also think these tariffs against Canada and Mexico, going back to just that for a second, and why it's so important, because if Donald Trump's willing to hold account Canada and Mexico, what message does that send to the rest of the world when they're dealing with Donald Trump for the next 4 years? Like, FAFO, right? And if Donald Trump is willing to hold Canada to this standard, who is an ally, and in theory, Mexico standard, which is an ally, then imagine what he's going to do to Al Qaeda or ISIS or to other countries that are not our allies, that are not our friends. You think, and this goes back to what we just talked about with USA, like the corruption there. Like, shut it down. The American people's tax dollars are the trillions of dollars that our tax dollars have been wasted and funneled to the most corrupt people in the world. The number of dollars that we have spent on our taxes that we will never see again because of the corruption and people getting rich off of just whoring out our dollars to everything else but Americans. Like, look at this country right now. I go back to the biggest injustice in this country right now, in my opinion, is the fact that the majority of our kids are not reading, writing, and doing arithmetic at grade level in our public schools. Our public schools are a disaster. Now, I'm a big fan of school choice. I think we should destroy the public education system as we know it. By the way, I have family that is in public education. I want them to still teach. I don't want them to teach in a broken system. I want there to be phenomenal teachers. I want teachers to make good money. I don't want them to make 40 grand a year or 50 grand a year. I want people, the best and the brightest, to teach. I don't want incompetent people teaching. But what we have right now is a total failure in this country, and it's destroying this country, and it's allowing for too many people to be relying on the government after high school because they don't know how to read, they don't know how to write, they don't know how to do arithmetic. And instead of teaching, we've indoctrinated. We've indoctrinated people to believe that the government is their daddy. We've indoctrinated people to believe that the government is the answer to all their problems. We've indoctrinated people to believe that you're not supposed to be able to provide for yourself. We've indoctrinated people to believe that the government should be paying your bills and for your food and your light bill and your housing subsidy. We've gotten people addicted like it is a drug to government aid. Why? because the Democratic Party wants the American people to be weak and not be able to stand up to them. They want to be able to control them, and they want them to be on the edge of financial disaster every 30 days if their magic government card doesn't fill up with money. That's the truth, folks. That's the truth. And so this all comes back down to the issue of accountability. Remember when Donald Trump was the biggest threat to this country back in his first term? Do you remember when that was? It was at a point where we had the lowest unemployment in history among African American men, women, Asian Americans, and Hispanic Americans. And the Democratic Party said, we've got to do something to get rid of him. We've got to overthrow the will of the people. We've got to impeach him. We've got to come up with fake crimes. We've got to lock him up. We got to get him out of office. And the simple reason why they decided to do that is because they realized that Donald Trump was empowering people. He was empowering them to grow and to be able to take care of themselves and not need the government. He was getting people off of food stamps. He was getting people out of government housing. He was getting them out of poverty, simply put. And he was doing it, and it was destroying and threatening the Democratic Party's modern day slavery that they had over African Americans and other voters. And so what did the Democrats do? They did two things. One, they went after Trump and tried to impeach him and try to throw him in jail. And two, they said we gotta flood this country next time we have a chance with illegal immigrants to replace those voters. And that's where we are right now. And we have a massive correction because Trump won because of everyone listening. 1-877-381-3811. Ben Ferguson filling in for Mark Levin. We'll be right back.
Mark Ben. WMAL. News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news. Former U.S. Navy SEAL Sean Ryan captures real stories about sacrifice and strength, uncovering truth with the heroes who live to tell it. There are two kinds of people: winners, whatever they feel is possible.
Might be back later, I might not. Till tomorrow. Bye. I gotta go.